So welcome back to another episode of Coffee, Config and Chaos. I'm Jerry Wong.
And I'm Andrew Robinson. And today on the show, we have a guest who basically truly embodies what the show is all about. Real people, real stories, and just a bit of chaos along the way.
And our guest today is the one and only Merv Small. And you're the founder and managing director of Agiro. Is that how I pronounce it?
That's correct, Agiro. That's right.
Agiro, that's good. Because me and Andrew was having a bit of a discussion, say, how do I pronounce Agiro? But that's really good.
That's it. That's it.
But also,
We're going to call it like how the Greeks do, like a hero.
That is one take I haven't heard, Andrew. So that's an interesting one on it. But yeah, the way I describe it, it's a play on the word agile. So that's how you pronounce it. So it's very similar to that.
Oh, lovely.
So there's a quick story. I know we're going to get into it,
Yeah.
but when I was starting the company, I was trying to find a name and picking all these buzzword, cloud this and all, tech this. Everything was taken. As soon as I thought I came up with a cool name, Google it, taken. Google it, taken. So I thought the only way I'm going to come up with the name is if I make it up. So, I just used the word agile, tweaked it a little bit, and came up with the Agiro. So there we go.
Agiro, nice. And also you're a ServiceNow Premium Partner that's based out of Australia.
That's correct. Yeah, we're based out of Australia, but we do have entities across the globe. So we have Agiro India, Agiro US, Agiro Canada, and very shortly Agiro UK.
But there is a twist to all this because Merv didn't just come from a traditional tech background like myself and Jerry. He started out in hip hop and R&B of all places,
That's right.
touring, performing, before jumping headfirst into the world of ServiceNow of all places.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. And from that kind of music to management and also admin to founder, Merv, your story is, for me, it's one of the reinvention and that resilience. And you show what's possible, what you lead, and with that curiosity and purpose.
Yeah, thanks. It's been quite the journey. Andrew, to your point, you couldn't get any more chalk and cheese in terms of my background. Tech and hip hop, right? It's totally opposing opposites. But no, it's been a great journey. And Joe, to your comment as well, like the only way I've been able to do it is to keep that curiosity, keep wanting to learn more and wanting to push forward. It's the reason why I've been able to get where I am is just going, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is there? So yeah.
And even after all that, as you said, chalk and cheese, you're helping organizations discover the art of the possible now with ServiceNow. And we're really excited to unpack that journey with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm happy to be here, guys. Thank you. I love the show. Big fan. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you, Merv. And then, I think we want to say welcome to the Coffee, Config and Chaos, and we'll get started. So let's start with the obvious, Merv. You went from performing hip hop to founding a tech company. What's that story behind that?
Well, I'll try and keep it really, it's a bit of a journey, like I said, right? But ultimately, starting with ServiceNow and learning the platform, and, I like everyone, and most people I started as an admin, didn't know ServiceNow, got dropped into it and said, here you go, you're now the platform admin. And I'm like, okay, had to learn how to do it from scratch. But ultimately, learning the platform and getting into it and enjoying it, becoming, admin to a developer, and then developer to a platform owner, and then getting into the world of consulting, that just the ability and the opportunities and the pathways afforded through the actual platform just allowed me to keep moving forward, and then ending up at, starting out and building up the practice in Deloitte, Big Four consultancy, and then realizing at that point, going, hang on, maybe I can do this for myself. Let me give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? Like you said, right, Jerry? So, I jumped ship, didn't really have a plan, and, I was very, very fortunate, and, I'll never take it for granted being able to land, one of Australia's biggest companies and being able to build the company off the back of that. It's been quite the ride, and, as all businesses have, you have your ups and your downs, and you're your amazing wins and achievements, and you take that all in your stride. And it's just been, quite interesting to see how the platform has been able to, provide those opportunities for me. And now my responsibility, if you will, is to show others that you can do it too, right? To give back and go, guys, if you just start, anything's possible.
I love that, Merv. I love that when you say, to show people that, I've done it and you can do it as well. And I love that when you mentioned that, you don't need a plan, but you need a plan in terms of when you get into what you want to do, is really kind of plan how to do it. So
absolutely.
I've always heard that kind of term, like fake it until you make it.
That's it. My thing is build the plane on the way down, Jerry. Jump and just work it out. Right? That's it.
I love it. No, I love your story, Merv. I love your journey as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So for you, Merv, what was the turning point? So, what was the single moment where you thought, this tech thing, this is for me. This is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah. It was a distinct moment, Andrew. It was when I walked into Knowledge 2012. So I had gone to the States, my company at the time had sent me to the conference to learn more about ServiceNow, which I did, which was awesome. But I was also going to the States, to have music meetings and to see if I could progress my music career at the time. And walking into Knowledge and just experiencing it for the first time. I'd never gone to any tech conference, any conferences, right? Let alone tech conferences, and just the vibe and, experiencing that growth through the platform. As I mentioned, being able to learn more, being able to do more than I ever thought. I'd never thought I could be a developer. I'd never coded in my life, right? I didn't do that at university, at school, right? And so having that experience at Knowledge, 2012, 2014, I made that decision there and then went, okay, this is definitely something that I want to do. I want to be a part of this world. And it wasn't until I actually, maybe a couple of months after I got back, that I realized that I was already heading in that direction. So I consciously said, I want to be part of it, but then everything just fell into place after that, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. So basically what the takeaway from that is that what you're saying is there's no party like a ServiceNow party.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's parties and there's parties, but this was different. This was definitely different. It just had such a great vibe. And one of the key senses, and you guys would know this as well, is a really great sense of community.
Yeah.
And there's a really great sense of belonging, no matter who you are, right? You get into the ecosystem, you meet these awesome people. Literally, we're hanging out, talking to you. Y'all are on the other side of the world. And, it's just this great camaraderie and everyone's really, really supportive. And, I was just gravitated to that. The tech's cool and it does what it does and it's awesome and everything like that. But for me, it's the people. And that's what really, really hooked me. At the end, I just want to be a part of this.
You know what? I completely agree with you. So when it comes down to the ServiceNow community, we all we all work together, and that is whereas you have all these other tech communities, and it's very much it feels a little bit like a rat race. Everyone's trying to get on top of everybody else. Whereas ServiceNow, the sense of camaraderie is it's insane. Like everyone's so super helpful. No, I completely agree with you.
Absolutely.
And so, Merv, when you first discovered ServiceNow, did it click straight away for you, or was it most of a, kind of what you mentioned, like learn fast and hope for the best kind of experience?
Kind of both, Jerry. So I like literally, and I know a lot of people have shared the same story, dropped into the deep end. So not only did I not come from a tech background, but I was the sole admin for the organization. So when people are asking for new forms, new fields, workflows, business rules, all that sort of stuff, it was landing on my desk. So I had to learn quickly. So I didn't have a choice to be able to just pick it up. And I tell you, I learned a lot through my mistakes. Let's just put it that way, right? So, but one thing that I really look back on and appreciate is that the platform, and obviously it still is, it's so forgiving. So you could do something and go, oh, hang on, it's maybe not the right way to do it. But the platform allows you to learn from that and to go, okay, well, now I know best practice is A, B, C, D, right? So to back to your question, to your point, Jerry, yeah, I didn't have a choice. I had to pick it up very, very quickly. And Google was my friend. And I, like we just said, I had a lot of support from the community. Back then, obviously it was a lot smaller, but even the ServiceNow team directly were great, and I got a lot of answers very quickly, which I was very lucky to be able to manage the platform. But yeah, it took a while to really get up to speed, but I didn't have a choice, and I now look back and go, wow, I did some really interesting things on the platform back then. So it was fun. It was fun when I look back on it.
Yeah, that's really great, Merv. I think it really shows that. I think just for people watching on this call, that you don't need to know everything, and you can just get started as long as you're passionate about learning. And like you mentioned, the community's there. I was the same. I started out. I'm sure Andrew started out the same. We got to set on a course or said, "Here's ServiceNow," and we just picked it up. Like I said, and it's just a case of if you're passionate, if you are embracing that learning, yes, definitely you can get to where where Merv's got to, where Andrew's got to, myself as well.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I do have a question for you, Merv, actually, and it's completely off script. So
go for it.
So again, you learned ServiceNow at a similar time to when I did. Would you say that the way that the platforms evolve, that it would be a little bit more difficult now for, let's say, a developer to move up through the ranks and learn the platform than it was, let's say, 10 years ago, simply just due to the fact that it's expanded so much?
It's a good question, Andrew. And I think that there's two sides to that, right? So obviously when we started, the platform was very different. There was a lot more space that you could do things in, kind of Wild West in a way that you just had to make things work, right? And now the way that it's being built and it's developed, it's very structured. But if you think about the scope and the breadth of the platform now, right? Back then we just had ITSM. That was it. Well, it was just on Berlin. That's all I had to work with. But if you look at the breadth of the platform now and how many different capabilities and features and specialties and requirements and expertise and knowledge that is needed for organizations, I feel like, yes, there may be a different way about growing as a developer, but I think you've got more spaces to become a specialist, right? And so if you want to just stay in that IT or the ITSM space, that's absolutely fine. There's opportunities there. But now you've got, your SecOps stuff, you've got HRSD, you've got CRM, and obviously the big thing now, AI. So I think there's a lot more vehicles as a developer now to come up. It's just in a different way. It's not the same as we did. Yeah, correct. Right. So we had a lot of freedom, we had a lot of space, but now there's space in the way that there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of different ways of doing it.
Yeah, I do get a lot of, I get a lot of people who message me who go, oh, I want to learn ServiceNow, where do I begin? And they're saying, oh, it's so complicated and everything, but it's really not. And the way that ServiceNow have done it is, it's like I said before, they've structured it, so instead of just saying, here's the platform straight away, they break it down into modules. So here's your IT service management. Here's your IT operations management, and then you move through those modules. And when you get good at one, you become a specialist. So
exactly. The one thing I always tell my students when I'm teaching them, and this was told to me on the first day of my boot camp back in 2013, was that if someone ever comes up to you and says, I know everything about ServiceNow, they're lying.
Yes.
Not one person knows every single thing there is to ServiceNow. So it is okay not to know. It is okay to go, hang on, there's all this other part of the platform that I don't know. I'm really good here. That's absolutely fine. And if you know little bits about the whole platform, that's okay too, because not everyone knows everything.
Yeah, of course. It's so vast, the
It is.
platform. And yeah, I mean, if somebody does come up to you and say, I know everything about ServiceNow, and 9 times out of 10, unless they are, the master of the master of the master architects, it's going to be unusual. I mean, when it comes down to ServiceNow, the thing that I love about it, and it was one of the things which draw me to it in the first place, is that there's always something new. So
Yes.
you'll
Yes.
go somewhere and you'll be doing a piece of work. Then next thing you think to yourself, "Oh, I didn't know it did that." And then it just continually, it just continually changes. Even though nothing's changed within the platform, it's always been there until you actually come around to using it. You think, "Oh, that's really impressive."
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, one of the you've got, I'll move on to the next question. So you've got one of the most inspiring from admin to founder stories in the ecosystem. So what do you think is the key to that transformation?
It's really about, for me personally, it's about wanting more, right? It's about looking at what is possible and what and how you can apply yourself and what you need to do to get there. For me, I thought success and all the things that I wanted to do in life, the vehicle for that was music. And so that was what was going to get me there. When I was introduced to ServiceNow, that opened up a whole different pathway for me to be able to get the same things and hit the same goals and milestones in my life. It was just obviously a totally different path. So to take that journey, it made so much sense, because I knew that if I kept on pushing myself, if I stayed up late to learn or to study for my admin cert, if I got that admin cert, that puts me in a different bracket. And then if I keep on going and learn for another year or 6 months to a year and get my certified implementation specialist, I can then go to the next level. And just knowing that if I put the work in, then it would result in I would reap the benefits of it. And it literally didn't. And again, I've been so fortunate and privileged to have people supporting me on that way as well. So I definitely didn't do it by myself. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And having the mechanics and the structure to be able to keep moving forward, whether it's through customers, whether it's family, friends. I've had some amazing mentors and colleagues that have helped me as well along the way, and all of that just culminated, Andrew, and became this momentum. And it all pushed me forward and allowed me to again get to the next stage, get to the next stage. But not once have I looked back and gone, oh, that's I just did that. No, there's so much around just having the timing, right things happen, the right times and the right places and the right people and the rest of it. And so yeah, I'm just really, really, like I said, really fortunate to be able to take that journey.
No, that's really inspiring. I mean, what I did want to ask you though is, right, so what did drive you to start your own consultancy? Because let's say, for example, one day did you just think, that's it, I'm starting my own consultancy, nobody's in my way, you held me back long enough. I mean, how do you go about doing that? Because I'm sure that like most people would just think, oh, it seems like a mammoth task, because consultancies don't just appear overnight.
I wish I had, some really, amazing quote or some kind of really cool story behind it. But Andrew, that was literally it. I just woke up one day and I just went, I can be doing this for myself. I'm just going to do it. And that was it. It was really binary.
Wow.
And yeah, when I left my job, as I mentioned before, I didn't have a parachute. I didn't have a second option. I didn't have, I've got this job on the side and maybe I'll do that. Or I didn't even have a proper business plan. I just went, I'm out, I'm going to do it. And that was that. And I think that's maybe, part of why I had to make it. I didn't have a choice, right? I was really lucky that my wife was just like, just go for it, and I had her support. And so that obviously, that helped me. But there's not, there's no secret sauce to it. There's no, special mantra or whatever. I just went, I'm jumping off the cliff and I'm building the plane on the way down, and I'm just going to make it work. And that's why I'm always going to have that sense of appreciation, because nothing is given, nothing's promised. And so to like I was saying before, with my journey and having, people support me and having these things happen, like, that's not promised. And so I'm very, very lucky, for the first customer to be, Telstra, and then, the next customer, and so forth and so on. And every customer is the most important customer, especially for when you're starting out your business. And to have that, it's, honestly, I put a lot of it down to luck, Andrew. That's probably what it is. But it's also trusting the platform to going, I'm going to make this jump, knowing that ServiceNow is the technology I'm betting on, knowing now I think the platform is going to go in this direction, and it's going to be the career for me, even more so, even though I spent the last, 8 years at that time. I know ServiceNow is going to be that that rocket ship that's going to take me to the next level, and it has been, and it will continue to do that.
So essentially, it sounds quite cliche, but you just put your all into it. You put your heart and soul.
That's it.
Hard work, dedication, and in the end, now you're reaping the rewards of it. No, that is an incredible story. I mean,
Thanks,
out of curiosity, how many times did you Google, how do I become, a ServiceNow partner?
Yeah, that's and this is the thing, if I actually did that, if I actually took the time before and really spent the time and thought about it and did the Googling and spoke to other partners, I probably wouldn't have done it. It's hard. It is so hard. It's a lot of work. It's like I said, highs and lows, right? And so I think a lot of these things, jumping into the unknown can sometimes be easy because it's the unknown, and you don't know how bad something might be, and you don't know how good something might be as well. But I think if you just trust your gut and trust your instinct, you're always going to land at least on your feet.
Yeah.
No matter where you land, you might not know where you're going to land, but if it's on your feet, then you're doing okay.
No, love it.
Thank you, Merv. It's really, really inspirational. And I really wanted to ask you in terms of from, you built Agiro from the ground up. And as you mentioned, you went in and one day said, that's what I'm going to do. But I want to really kind of ask you again, in terms of like, what's your vision when you started? Did you have a vision? Did you want it to say, right, this is what I want to do? And how has that evolved during your journey now building Agiro?
Yeah, it's a good question, Jerry. This is probably the closest and most personal part of my whole journey when it comes to Agiro. The core reason why I built it was why I started it, and the way I wanted to build it was to have a place where people like myself who had worked in organizations and had gone through that journey could come and feel that this was their place, that they would feel appreciated, that they would feel recognized, that they would feel seen, that they would feel respected. And if they wanted to work hard and apply themselves, that they could do anything in there and nothing would hold them back. And that's what I wanted Agiro to be when I first started. And that's what I'm going to, perpetuate and continue as we grow. And money's great, and being an awesome part of blah blah blah, that's cool, right? But I think that in itself is more important to me than any other success or achievement or milestone and the rest of it. Because if I can walk away from Agiro knowing that, people that joined came in, they, felt that they could be themselves, could be them true selves, and they could feel safe and fostered and supported, then that's what it's all about for me, honestly. And I think that one of the core things that I realized very early on was that if you take care of your people are going to take care of the business. It's so symbiotic. It's so simple though. Like a lot of businesses may not get that, but it's just like, just take care of your people, and that is your backbone, that's your foundation. So if everyone's happy to be there, working hard, motivated and invested and all that, what's going to happen to the business? It's just going to grow and get better, right? It's so basic, it's so obvious, right? But that was one of the core things, Joe. Yeah, I want to be the best, the best at ServiceNow. We want to be the best partner. Of course, I'm a very competitive person, but that's secondary. That's the money. You need the money, great, but having that place. And I always tell anyone that joins, in the interviews or the onboarding, is that my job is to ensure that when you join the company, if and when, don't want you to leave, but if and when you leave, you're in a different position. You've grown. And if you haven't, then I've failed. If that's what you want, if you want to grow, if you want to come in as a developer and leave as a senior architect or a project manager, whatever it is, that's my job. That's my responsibility, because that's what I was afforded. The support, like I mentioned before, guys, all the support that I got allowed me to grow. So now it's my turn to give that back.
Wow, Merv. Yes, that's so powerful. I think when you explain around your ethos and the way that you treat your employees and also anyone that you come across by. I think even though I've met you before, Merv, we obviously I met you through a webinar session that we did together.
That's right. Yeah.
I think the way that you come across, and you really, for me, you've really touched my heart when you said all of those things, because
thanks, man.
I think I know for me, I know Andrea, if you can say it for yourself, but when you work for an organization, you need to make sure you've got that right culture.
Yeah,
that's right.
To be able to be listened to be able to say, how, this is where I am. What's my aspiration? How can you help me get there?
Yeah.
And to be part of that team.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. Like you mentioned, like, if you look after me, we look after the organization, we look after your customers. If your customers are happy, perfect. And that's I see that synergy there. No, thank you for sharing that, Merv. Just really kind of touched me. It touched my heart there to really kind of understand how that's what we're here. I think having that purpose, having that drive, and also supporting each other as well.
Absolutely,
I completely agree. It's so refreshing, even though it's like what you said. It's so simple, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's a rarity, but it's one of those things that you don't see these days. You take care of your people, they'll take care of you. So yeah, as just to echo what Jerry said, powerful words, absolutely fantastic. I love what you're doing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Now, as part of running a business, part of running a ServiceNow partner business, what would you say has been the biggest reward out of it? And obviously any of the biggest challenges along the way?
Let's start with the challenges, Andrew. Let's start with that, right? Here's the thing that I learned, guys, starting my own business, is that no one knows and no one tells you how to really start a business. Every business is different, right? And so you've just got to work it out yourself. And here's the analogy that I always give people, is that say your friend is a painter and they're an amazing painter and they paint really well, and you just go, look, yeah, that's what you need to open up your own business and be an artist and do that. Now, they're a great painter, but they may not be good at business. And so, people go, okay, you're so good at something, that should be what you do. business is different. And so all I knew when I started was I know how to do ServiceNow. Whether I know how to do it really well or bad or whatever, that's what I know. So I'm going to do ServiceNow as a business. And man, the business side of things is a learning curve because there's so much to it. There's so much to it. And when you do it the way I do it and just go, hey, I'm just going to jump ship, you got to learn quickly. You got to learn very, very quickly. So yes, exactly. So Andrew, the challenges were the business side. The ServiceNow part was easy. That, do that with my eyes closed. Great team. We can deliver and support and blah blah blah. Easy. That's the easy part. But yeah, navigating business, I would say, is a challenge. And what I've learned, and I've spoken to so many CEOs, business owners, ex-business owners that sold their companies for gajillions and blah blah blah. Everyone says the same thing, is that it never gets easier. You don't master business. You just continue on. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So it's not just me. Like, no, I've made this mistake and that mistake, and everyone's made the same mistakes. So you're not the only person, blah, blah, blah. And just hearing that, after some of the things that you go through, you just go, oh, okay, well, it's not just me. And, you get through it. So that's the challenging part. So now let's get to the second part of the question, which was the achievements. Was it, Andrew?
Yeah. So like, what would you say has been the most rewarding part of it?
The rewarding part. Sorry. Yes. Honestly, the rewarding part. And I'm so lucky. I really make a point of it, honestly, and this is going to sound, naff or whatever, is when I'm in a meeting, like a workshop or a customer meeting, and I get to sit back and I just watch my team do their thing. And I sit there and I go, man, I get to do this? Like, this is Agiro? Are you serious? Like, I don't know I hope I never get used to it. I hope I never lose that feeling, but it might sound silly, but 4.5 years on, that's for me, that's seeing the people that's in the team do their thing. I just feel so lucky and so privileged that that's my job. I'm like, I'm sitting there going, I get to do this as a job. Are you serious? It could be worse, right? And then, it's a journey and the rest of it, but that's the rewarding part, Andrew, is to see, certain people progress and certain people perform really well. But to know that we get to do Agiro, I'm just like, man, it's just cool. I don't know how to explain it. It's just cool,
Sometimes you sit there and have like a little smile to yourself as you look on the team and you're like, yeah,
this is cool.
I did that.
I don't know about that. I did that part, but I'm part of it. That's what it is, Andrew. I get to be part of that. I get to be part. I love being, and I don't know if the team likes this, right? But just really quickly, a little side note. I love being in the trenches. So, case in point, we just went live with a massive global implementation over the weekend, and I spent the same. Like, I was with the development team in those stand-ups in the go live. We were like 12-hour calls, and the rest of it, I'm not doing anything. Hey, I'm the least important person on the call. They're doing update sets and fixing bugs and doing this, but being with them. Being in the trenches, it's late, it's 11th hour, everyone's stressed and blah, 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 but everyone's coming together. Everyone's working on the same thing, the same goal, the same direction, supporting each other. People have got kids and they're going, okay, can you just hand that over? I've got to go. Oh man, being in that, that's what it is for me. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because you're a part of something bigger. You're a part of this team that have just come together, and we're not a big four and we're not some of those prestigious partners, but we got this really cool team that just gets together and gets it done, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of that. That's what it's about for me, Andrew.
Yeah, as a developer, I can relate. I know exactly the feeling that you mean.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool.
Thanks, Merv. That's really powerful message. It just keeps reminding me as me as a product owner. I obviously work with developers and work with our business stakeholders, and when they're doing user testing, when they go into the business, I want to make sure I drop in and say hi, how you doing, and just getting involved. I think just showing that you're there is really important. And it just feels like sometimes, and again, in the past I've seen implementations where where's that lead person to be there, because it still feels like everyone's just working hard, but there's you're providing that direction, you're providing that support, and when they see that, it's like you know, I've got that reassurance, I've got that confidence,
Yeah.
and you know, that working as a team ethos.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So Merv, you talk about, you know, things like the art of the possible. What does that phrase mean to you, and you know, how do you actually help customers see beyond just tickets and workflows?
That's a really good question, because I do say that a lot. A lot of people pick up on that in meetings with customers, right? I think for me, it's really about looking beyond their process, because when you're sitting in a workshop with someone, especially, you know, you've got senior management and then you've got people that are on the ground. Sometimes these people have been doing the same thing manually for 15 years, right? You're dealing with these people like that's been their life for so long, and you're coming in and you're changing that. All right. And so really taking them on that journey to look past that, look past what they know, look past everything that they've been doing and being, you know, embedded in. And a lot of the times when you're so close to something, you get in the way of that opportunity because you can't see anything outside of that. And so my job and our job is to take them on the journey to look past that and go, hang on, you know, there's another way of doing that. And once you step outside of what you know, you create this space. And what happens then is that ServiceNow is so flexible and it's got so many capabilities, then you're allowing ServiceNow to come in and do its thing. And that's the art of the possible for me, is creating that space and going, you know what, the platform could do that. Have you thought about doing it this way? Or hang on a second, here's another example. And that's the art of the possible, is that journey piece of creating that space of possibility.
Merv, I relate to you completely about that, because for me, it's that organizational change management piece.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, you know, you've got people that have been using, you know, either a system or using their process for, you know, a long time.
Spreadsheets, Jerry, you know, spreadsheets is always a thing.
Spreadsheets, yeah. And, you know, people are quite very comfortable in terms of the way they're working. And, you know, if you talk about change, it's scary, you know.
And just scary.
You know, it's a scary thing. But you mentioned as well that, you know, you take them along that journey, involved them at the very beginning.
Yeah.
For me, it's about understanding in terms of what those pain points are, right? Understanding in terms of what's close to their heart about them working, what's their passion.
Yeah.
And able to, I always kind of have this, you know, word I would always use is co-create that value. Is how we can work together, you know, whether you're in IT, whether you're in the business, you come together in terms of understanding, right? We've got this partnership. It's having that partnership to be able to trust each other. And also be that empathetic feeling to say, right, yes, we will all know there will be challenges coming along the way. There's change. There's, you know, I've got to learn a new system, but we're here to support each other. And that's, for me, that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
But, I love that. Thank you for kind of sharing that with us.
No worries.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, well, not in the past, I essentially change stuff from spreadsheets to ServiceNow, and I do that quite a lot. And you know what? I completely agree with you. I mean, there's got to be that cooperation. Obviously, if you go in there and it's completely one-sided, but when the look on the user's face, when you know you've gone from a spreadsheet to ServiceNow, all singing, all dancing, you've got orchestration, you've got flows, you've got automation going on.
Automation.
I'm oh my God, this how have we been managing for so long? So love it. I completely know what you mean.
You're taking people out of the dark ages, right? And you're showing them the light. And this is the thing, guys, like, you're changing people's lives. Literally, that person that used to come in and potentially not like their job so much, it's different now. It's different. It's a different world, and things are, you know, our jobs collectively, Jerry and Andrews, to make people's lives easier. And to be able to do that, man, it's cool. It's just super cool.
Yeah, Merv, I could give you an example of that. You know, I'm working with a team at the moment, and even just a member of their staff that's looked at ServiceNow has really kind of said, you know, I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Well, I just referred
Yeah.
them to ServiceNow University site because
Yeah.
there's free content, and again, in their spare time or having their own personal development, and it just creates that excitement. Say,
Yeah.
we know that technology is, in terms of it's a part of our everyday lives. It's part of our where we work.
Mhm.
Technology is going to get bigger. AI is. I know I use AI in my everyday life. It's on my phone. It's it's
Yep.
in the workplace.
It's everywhere.
So when I see that excitement of people say, I want to learn, I want to be able to support them on that,
Yeah.
on their own
Yeah.
journey as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Merv, you've worked across consulting, enterprise, and leadership. So, how would you balance innovation with practicality, especially in a fast-moving ecosystem such as ServiceNow and AI, which is quite a big thing at the moment?
Yeah, it's a very topical thing, Andrew, and probably sense a theme here in terms of how I'm going to answer this question, but this is how I've approached everything from day one, because I've been a customer myself, and now I'm on the other side of the table as a consultant. And at the end of the day, no matter what solution you put in and build, and no matter what's driving it at the core, whether it's AI, automation, workflows, and the rest of it, there's always going to be a person on the other end of that process. And so if you remain empathetic, if you remain focused and conscious and cognizant of whatever you're building, designing, or how you're putting things together, there's going to be a person at the end of it. I think you're always going to achieve a level of success. Do we get it right every time? Is it perfect? No, no one is, right? But you have more chances of success if you provide the value to the person and not just making the platform do what it needs to do for the sake of it. Because we often get caught up. I'm technical, not as technical as you guys, especially you, Andrew, you're next level. But we all like making the platform do super cool things, and we get lost in that, and we focus on that, and our jobs is to build out. We go in and we implement sometimes really super complex custom apps and the rest of it, or really simple out the box solutions. But all of that doesn't matter if the person at the end of it isn't going to be able to use it. And so having really cool innovation and really powerful technology needs to always be balanced out by how the person is going to experience. And that's how I keep that level, Andrew, is like, yes, I'm engrossed in the tech and I love the tech in all different facets, but just remind yourself that there's going to be a person that's going to be using it. So you need to ensure that they can relate to it, and it does provide that value, not for value's sake.
Yes, that's a great way of thinking about it. Now, I'm guessing I know, because I was once in your shoes. Obviously not to the point where you've got at the moment, but I mean in such a way that, I'm a customer, and I've been an end user of ServiceNow. So from a usability perspective, you know what to look out for, the pitfalls. Whereas let's say, you're just doing development for development's sake. I'm going to make this all, conform with X, Y, and Z. At the end of the day, if you're having a poor user experience, you just complete waste of time. So I completely agree.
User experience is everything.
Yeah,
it's everything. So that should be always at the forefront of everything that you do on the platform. And if I can, not to take it on a tangent here, to me, part of our approach and ethos as well at Agiro is there's two layers of user experience. Yes, there's user experience in the traditional sense, we'll say customer experience, in the traditional sense of what the platform can do and how I interact in the interface and how the ease of use and the rest of it, but also how you get there from a engagement perspective. I think I know I said this to a customer today, actually. It's well and good that, a partner or a consultancy can come in and build the best solution in the world, make the platform do backflips and this and that. But along the way, if that experience has been really terrible with them, and they haven't come to the party, there hasn't been a fair trade of value and a partnership, no matter how good that platform is, you're never going to use that partner again. You're never going to go back to them because it was too hard, it was too difficult, it's a bad experience, bad taste in your mouth. And so why would you go back? So ensuring that, yes, we're doing the right thing and you're building the right thing, but the experience and the journey is managed correctly, so that when you get to the end point, not only is the product good, but also the partnership. And that's super important, because everyone, to your earlier point, I think it might have been Jerry or Andrew, change management, OCM, organizational, that's super important, just as important as your technology implementation.
Yeah, and I suppose from a partner perspective, you want that repeat custom, don't you? You want your clients to stay with you. You want it to be more of a partnership than, let's say, that you're the customer and I'm providing you a service. So
that's right. That's right. It can't be transactional. It has to be strategic. There has to be a roadmap. And I'm not the type of person that just wants to go and build something really quick and expensive and that's it. No, I'd rather just go on this nice journey with the customer and make something. It's got to be meaningful. Or why are we doing this? There's got to be something at the end of the road. And so just seeing that growth with the customer, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, I want to just maybe add on to that, Merv, because obviously I'm part of the accessibility product advisory group. So there's a shout out to Elena Beaver in ServiceNow. She's obviously the global head of accessibility customer engagement. For me as well, when like you mentioned, just involving the organization, those users around, user experience, but also I think importantly around accessibility, because I think there are a lot of things I've seen where people have developed solutions haven't really considered around accessibility, and I really want to kind of point this out, and it's quite close to my heart because my son is he's neurodiverse, and again making sure that whatever solutions that we are developing for our end users and the people do use it, it's accessible for all.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to just flag that up, because I always want to make sure it is an important factor that we need to ensure. Okay.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more, Joe.
Thank you, Merv. So I'm going to go more in terms of your experience around the community side of things, Merv. So you're deeply involved in ServiceNow University, because I know you've got a video of your career on the ServiceNow University site. But you're also looking at, mentoring new talent. Why is that such a big part of your own story?
Because I was privileged enough for it to happen to me. And so everything I do now, it's my responsibility to give back. And I think the reason why I did the story, did the video, and the talks and the webinars and all that sort of stuff that I partner with ServiceNow is that I always say, if I could just change one person's life through ServiceNow, I've done my job, because that's what happened to me. I was really, really fortunate that, everything that I've been able to achieve has been through ServiceNow. So, if someone else can just have that same journey, then I've, like I said, I've done my job. And so it's super important. And I just hope that, the story just, it's not about, me sitting here talking about myself, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just about showing that if I can do it, 4 people, I can do it. Anyone can do it, guys. I can tell you, anyone can do it if you just, choose that path, apply yourself and go for it. And if there's, my door's always open. I get a lot of messages. You guys do too, right? A lot of messages on LinkedIn, and I get my students, and I get ex-colleagues and ex-team members still hitting me up, and I got time. Anyone that I can help and give some sort of piece of advice to, whether it's right or wrong, it's my It's a total disclaimer. But if I can help, I think that's part of being able to leave your legacy, right? That's part of being able to go on your career journey and look at it and go, well, I've gone from A to B, look back and how can I help the next person get to A to B? And I hope that next person looks back and goes, how can I help that other person, and just pays it forward. And I think as humans, it's just, if we could just help each other out, even in the littlest bit, it makes a difference. Makes a difference.
Thank you for sharing that, Merv. And I can totally relate to that, because I had someone come up to me and said they obviously heard my story as well. And they said, I'm going to get back into education. I think I've heard your story. And I've made a decision now that, I want to pursue education so I can grow and develop my own self. And I think, as you mentioned, that, if any of us can and help inspire others, I think we've done our job, right? We've done our job. We've shared a story because we wanted to help people, and that was the main reason, right? And when I heard that, I was like, wow, I didn't even think about me sharing my story would help, would do that. But now hearing that physically from someone, it kind of,
that's awesome.
Me. Yeah, it's awesome. It's such an awesome feeling.
Oh man, I absolutely correct. But I'm going to pause here. Let's just pause this this podcast. Shout out to y'all too, man. You guys are doing it. You guys are sharing the stories. You guys are getting that message out. You guys are inspiring. That's what y'all are doing, man. And it is amazing to watch someone from the outside watching you guys do it. I know, you have guests on and, you talk about them, but what about y'all? Y'all are doing the best, man. The really best type of thing that you can do. And I've got to give y'all your props, because sometimes it's easy to get caught up because you guys are interviewing, your guests. I'm going to start interviewing y'all, but honestly, hats off to you guys, because, you guys are inspiring too. Jerry, you're sharing your story, Andrew, you as well. And it's so awesome to see. And this is what the community is about, right? It's about people like yourselves that are getting out there and again, just that one person, like that person that came up to you, Jerry. It's just that one person, right? And so that's why it's so awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you,
Merv, as well. Yeah.
No worries.
So, I mean, you did mention before that you didn't come from a tech background. So how do you encourage others who might not, fit the mold to step into this space?
Yeah, it's that is I even get emotional thinking about that, Andrew, to be honest with you. Because for me, it's like, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter about your background. It doesn't matter about your journey. It's knowing that you belong. And that's a sense that I had when I stepped into the world, right? Again, not technical, but just that first step into that world of ServiceNow and going, I can do something in here. I can make something of myself within this ecosystem, and finding your space. I always tell people, find your space, find out what you're passionate about or what you're good at, because that's going to be the driver of your confidence, and that's going to allow you to push forward. That thing that you can walk into the room and go, yeah, I'm really good at this. I'm the best in this room at it, right? And just smash that out. Find that place, and that's going to take work. Not going to happen overnight, but if you want it to happen, you absolutely can find that space. And the other thing too is, like, what I look back on my journey now and what I share when I talk about it, and I talk to the students, is you're good enough. You are good enough. You as a person and your skill sets, you're good enough to do whatever you need to do. And so that's how I give people that understanding through my learnings, is that it doesn't matter where you're from, Andrew. You can do it. You can absolutely do it and break that mold. Like I said, I've met so many, to your point, Jerry, I've met so many people from like such diverse backgrounds. It even surprises me today, the people that, will message me or or come up to me at an event or acknowledge and say, oh, I'm such and such, and I've just got my admin cert. I'm like, what? That's crazy, but that's what it's about. It doesn't matter where you start. And that's the message that I want to get out there as well.
Yeah, and I suppose that it really goes down to, look, you don't need to be, you don't need to go to university and study, quantum computing or whatnot. There are so many people, like you said, come from so many diverse backgrounds. So you have the people who literally, obviously, testament to them, they will come straight out of school, move into ServiceNow software development, and that's what they want to do. And props to them for that drive. Then you also have the other people as well who grow into the actual developer role. So, for example, they may have worked in customer service, they may have been picking up tracks, they may have been doing whatever, but then they took that step to change their life and move forward. They saw, like yourself, they saw a product which they thought, it's a little bit different. They've seen the opportunity and they've gone with it, and they've made a success of themselves.
That's it. That's what it's about.
So Merv, what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had given you when you were just starting out?
I think I can attest to this across my everything that I do in life. Be patient. It's okay not to know. Just be patient and make sure that you're present enough to understand that there's a lesson in everything, especially not the fun things, especially the things that when they go wrong, right? Because it's easy to lose sight of, I broke this, or go live hasn't gone this way, or whatever it is, right? It's easy to get caught up, and there's lessons in that, right? But honestly, it's really it's okay to learn. It's okay not to know, and just be patient with yourself. I wish someone had told me that, and it's frustrating when you don't know something, and that's natural, that's human, but it's okay.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Now, Merv, I'm going to ask you. So, what was your biggest chaos moment in your career so far? So, one time everything went sideways, or the hit the fan, and taught you something really long lasting which stays with you today.
So how long have you got? No, I'm gonna try keep this really, really short, and I've got to be very specific around how I talk about this. So it was very early on in my career when I was a technical consultant, and I was the lead developer on an implementation for a customer, and the go live just went terribly wrong. Things weren't working, whole workflows and automation broke. People couldn't access certain parts of the platform. It just fell over. And I was left, because I did have, architects supporting me, but for whatever reason, they had rolled off the project and weren't contactable, we'll say, over that time of the first couple of days. So I was stuck there by myself. And remember, guys, I didn't come from a super technical background. So all of this orchestration and integration, as we all know, that's the stuff that always breaks. I didn't have the skill sets to fix it. It was the one part that I got help with. And so I'm stuck with this customer. Monday morning on Go Live, we went live over the weekend, and they're asking me what's going on. Can you fix it? Can you? And it was tough, guys. It was a really tough moment in my career, because I'd gone from strength to strength, and then gotten to this point where it actually showed me, hang on a second, you do not have all the skill sets that you need to actually, get to the next stage. It was very sobering. It was very eye-opening. But what I learned from that was, if you are just open, honest, and vulnerable with your customers and transparent, they will do everything to support you. It was as bad as it was, and a lot of the pressure of, as we did come from myself, because I was frustrated I couldn't fix it straight away. I had to wait for the architects and the rest of it, and We did get it all fixed, by the way. It was all fine. But it was just that time where everything broke and we just went live. But the customer literally put their arms around me and said, it's okay. We'll work it out together. And at that moment, I just realized that, again, these are just people. Everyone's in the same boat. Yes, they're customers. Yes, I'm a consultant. But at the end of the day, we're all people. And you know, that support and that understanding and that patience really stuck with me and changed the way that I understood the consulting relationship. So it went from that traditional paradigm where, you know, we're a consultant and you're the customer, to like, we're just people in the room trying to get something done. And that's how I approach things now. Yes, we wear the hat with a partner and the rest of it. But again, guys, at the end of the day, these are people. And here's the cherry on the top in terms of that story. So that customer there, I was working for another partner. First, this is the first implementation I'd ever done, by the way. Implemented their platform. Then 4 years later, my journey had started my own practice, had my own company. I came back and was their partner, and I support their platform. And I was, you know, I had gone and did that 360 journey, going from that to now walking in with my own company to support that same customer that I'd originally started off my first implementation with. So that was that was my chaos moment that, you know, turned itself around as such. But that's still to this day been one of the hardest situations I've been in. But again, there's a lesson in everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how things sometimes go full circle. And
yeah,
and do you know what? You're right. These people are just people. So if transparency really is key, you know, if all of a sudden you say no, everything's fine, people feel as if they're being misled. You know, they don't know what's going on. So again, absolutely right. You know, love it.
Yeah.
Merv, and on the flip side of this, what's the proudest moment in your ServiceNow journey so far?
Oh man. I think I would have to, I mean, there's been so many cool things that has happened. And you mentioned it before, having the documentary and that coming out and sharing my story out, that was super cool, right? But I think walking out on stage at the last World Forum here in Sydney, Australia, and closing off the keynote, I think is my proudest moment to date. And just coming from, you know, that totally different, thanks, Joe, totally different world where I used to run on stage and I used to rap and I used to do all that sort of stuff, to walking on stage in the tech world, a world that I wasn't part of, right? It was foreign to me, and being able to, you know, to be on that level, I think was super. I'm getting emotional about talking about it now, because, you know, I felt that I belonged. I felt that, you know, I had gotten to that level where, you know, I was well and truly part of it and accepted, and that was, you know, a super proud moment. And I was also able to do that in front of my son and my wife, so I had them in the crowd, and to be able to show my son that no matter where you start, no matter your background, no matter what, you know, you can reach to, you know, whatever level that you want to, and if anything's possible. That was, you know, that was it for me.
Thank you for sharing, Merv. And yeah, I think, you know, I say it's an emotional feeling that you have, and especially sharing your personal story as well. And yeah, I applaud you. I really applaud you on that side of first. Thank you.
And I appreciate it. And I applaud you as well, Jerry. You've done the same. You've done the same. And it's not easy being open and vulnerable about, you know, your life and sharing and opening it up to strangers in the world like we have, right? So hats off to you too, man.
Thank you, Merv. So we're going to move into our next quick fire round. So it's chaos mode on.
Okay, let's go.
We got a quick fire round. So first thing that comes to mind. So I'll shout out the first one, and then we'll see Andrew will shout out the next one. Coffee or tea?
Right. Coffee, 100%.
Favorite Aussie snack or cafe order?
Well, I don't think this is Aussie, but cafe order, my go-to is always ham and cheese croissant, toasted.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
If not ServiceNow, what career would you be in?
Come on, man, that's an obvious. But let me just flip it. Not many people know this because I always think about the music. Robotics. I would love to be able to build robots and anything related to the automotive industry. I mean, I got shoes here. That's a problem. Cars is a problem for me as well. Anything to do with cars, I would be there, whether it's a mechanic, F1 driver, anything in between. So anyone out there that needs a ServiceNow partner in that industry, hook me up. I love it.
Favorite hip hop artist of all time?
Oh, come on, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. You know what, Andrew? It's not a single person. I would have to say, if I had to choose one, there's a group called the Clips, and they're a duo. So that would have to be my favorite of all time if I had to pick one, but that's tough. That's like choosing between your children. So I'm gonna have to just go with the Clips.
Favorite ServiceNow feature or app?
So for me, it's always been the portal from back in the days, because coming from my background, the portal was the only place on the platform where I could be creative, where I could, put cool pictures, change colors, move things around. We're talking about UX and UI and accessibility, Jerry, and really, making sure that experience for the end users was as cool as possible. That is the cool place for me. So I would have to say that's my favorite feature personally.
And what would your dream travel destination?
Dream travel is it's not as might be boring to some people, but LA. I love Los Angeles. There's something about it. People always, why? It's just something about LA. So yeah, I'd have to say LA.
Nando's or Hungry Jack's?
Nando's. It's not even a question, Jerry. That's Nando's all the way. That is just like crack. I love Nando's. Oh man, I'm addicted to Nando's. Nando's is
I'm the same.
best.
I'm the same.
I gotta say though, and I'm gonna be there soon. I gotta try UK Nando's. I want to see if it's different, if it's better, if it's worse. But I gotta try it. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be one of the things I have when I get there.
Well, shout us when you're over here. We'll get a Nando's together.
Yeah.
Get a Nando's together.
100%. That's it. Done. 100%.
Side question.
Yeah.
Mild, hot, extra hot. What do you go for?
Hot. Extra hot,
Hot.
I feel like you can't really enjoy it. It's too much heat. And so hot is just that nice balance. It's hot. You get sweating a little bit. You get a bit, a bit teary, but it's nice. I think extra hot, it's just too much. What about y'all, Jerry? Hot, extra hot, mild?
I'm a medium.
Okay.
Yep.
Andrew?
I'm a Vusa, so I go the extra hot.
Wow.
Okay. It's good. Extra hot. All right. Nice.
I love my spicy food.
Yeah, nice. Certain things, absolutely, but yeah, I love Nando's. So, you guys got me thinking. That's getting close to my dinner time too. Maybe that's what I'll have for dinner. Yes.
Now Assist or ChatGPT?
See, how are you going to ask that question too? I'm not allowed to say ChatGPT. Now Assist, ServiceNow Partner. What's that, Andrew?
I said, oh, what? So it's ChatGPT. I'm only
No. Now Assist all the way, 100%.
Okay, well, that's the end of chaos mode. So
Cool.
now, before I wrap things up, this is a favorite part of the show. Brew it forward.
Okay.
So this is your chance, Merv, to give a shout out to someone in the ServiceNow ecosystem that's really kind of made a big difference to you. Maybe they've inspired you, they've supported your own journey, or just being all good round human.
Oh man, this is a tough one, guys. I've got so many people that I need to thank, and we don't have time for all of it. But I'm not going to say, I got to say two. If I had to boil it down, I know, Andrew, to your hip hop question, I can't just say one. I got to say two. I've got to give a massive, massive shout out to Amy Glencross. So Amy was the partner that hired me when I went to Deloitte, that believed in me coming from a technical consultant to become a director and to lead the practice. And that changed my life. that belief and that support, and everything that she's done afterwards is just, it's made such an impact on my life. And you know, I am very, very, very lucky and fortunate to have met her and to have her as part of my journey, still to this day, still making an impact. And so it's just amazing that there's people out there like that, that it just takes one person to believe in you and it can change everything. The other person that I got to give a massive shout out to, and Jerry, you're gonna connect with this one, is Ron Fugelseth. So
Yep.
Ron was the director of the ServiceNow documentaries that were shot last year. It's been a year now, and as part of the creative team. And shout out to Jane and everyone else in there as well. But Ron, again, just his ability to make you feel safe and make you feel comfortable and allow you to tell your story. And to me, you know, going back to, you know, why I do this and, you know, why I'm out there, is to tell the story. And he allowed that. He enabled that and he supported that. And he's an amazing human being. And so I've got to give him a shout out, because, you know, people like that are rare and special. And so they need to be recognized. So they're the two shout outs.
Merv, thank you. And I can really relate to you about Ron, because Ron was also the creative director that filmed my story.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to get Ron on the show. So
100%.
don't worry about that. We'll get Ron definitely on the show.
100%.
I've already
Awesome.
been in touch with him already about this.
Awesome.
But I love that what you've shared with us about the shout out. So we'll make sure we'll tag them in the next kind of, you know, obviously make sure we tag them in this episode. But who knows? Maybe they'll be again, you know, sitting in the seat next time. Where definitely Ron will be. And
tell Ron you better shout me out then, if that's the case.
Yes, definitely.
I'm joking.
So Merv, it's been incredible. So from beats to business, you've shown that your path doesn't have to be linear to make an impact.
And what really stands out from you, Merv, is your mindset, your curiosity, community, and you're always kind of looking at what's possible.
So for everybody listening, if there's something in Merv's story that's hit home, share this episode, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to join the Coffee, Config, and Chaos group on LinkedIn.
Real work, real learnings, real people, and that's Coffee and Config Chaos. And see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, Merv. Great story.